What's going on? Glad to see you. I want to go over today the gear I use. I get asked all the time about what duck call do I use? What's my shotgun setup? What decoys do I use? What spinners? Just got back from Canada on a trip, so I had all this laid out. Seemed like a good time to do it. So we're going to quickly run over everything I use pretty much universally across the board. Just getting back from Canada, it was the first duck trip of the season. I've been getting asked a lot, are you still gonna be hunting public this year? Are you still gonna be going on trips, you know, since you're guiding? Yes, I'm only guiding like 25%, 30% of my season. So I'm gonna be hunting public just as much as ever. The videos are gonna be the same. I love public, would never give that up. I'm only guiding like a small piece. I'm like 85, 90% booked. If you wanna get in with prairie drifters, I still have a couple of dates left. I got room for 2, December 2nd through December 4th, room for 1 on October 31st through November 2nd. And I got room for a group of 4, you know, maybe like October 17th to October 23rd, and maybe another spot or 2 in November, December. But we're pretty well booked. It's been awesome. Habitat's looking great. Ducks are thick. I think we're gonna smoke them. If you wanna come hunt with me, check out huntprairiedrifters.com. Now, let's jump into the gear. All right, we're gonna start on this side and work our way that way. Starting out with spinners. I get asked all the time, Lucky, Mojo, AVNX, what do you like? Well, honestly, they all kind of suck. They all have their pros and cons. First off, I love this spinner bag by Rogers. It does perfect for holding spinners. I've got 3 Luckies right now. The HDMIs, X-HDMIs. Nothing special about them though. They just as easily could be Mojo Kings. I always like to have a pair of leather gloves too. These are great for brushing in, great for keeping your hands warm too, but these are just great for working essentially. All right, moving on to decoys. I've kind of got like a hodgepodge because companies send me decoys. Typically though, I'm carrying on most trips, most just normal days on public in my local area, I'm typically carrying 2 dozen mallards and usually like 2 dozen teal. Right now I've got a dozen dye bombs, which I kind of like. And then I got a dozen packable mallards. These are my favorite mallard decoys by far. I've had them since they very first come out and I just love them. They move so good in the wind and they sit up really high. Like they just have when they're actually in the water, they have a much bigger posture than most other decoys, but they're 10 times lighter. I like their lightness to carry them, obviously, but I really like their lightness because they move so good in the wind. It just takes very little wind to kick these things around. These things are like 4 years old now. I mean, they're definitely faded, but they've held up better than most other decoys. I actually got some Lifetime, or now Heyday at the same time, and they're not even usable now. So they definitely outlasted the Lifetime decoys. Next, I normally carry some form of green wing teal decoys. These are 2 different brands. This is a Decoy Central. These are super cheap. These are like 60 for a dozen, 50 for a dozen, something like that. I can't even remember what they are, but they're really cheap and they work plenty good enough. And you say, well, why don't you carry teal? Well, the reason why I like to carry teal just simply because I can carry 2 dozen and double the size of my spread and it's really light, really small. I also like kind of having the different size. You know, you got mallards out there and you got teal. I'm not really getting caught up on the species, and I don't think ducks do either. If you can match exactly what you're seeing, great, but I just don't get hung up on that. I just carry teal because they offer like different size dimensions from above, but also I can carry these 2 dozen and they're really small and compact, and I can just sling them in the sled and they'll fit. So I can carry essentially 4 dozen decoys by myself typically, which is usually enough. Next, I always carry a beaver stick in the sled. It's just good for walking, checking depths, good safe thing to have, chase after cripples. If I'm gonna use a blind, it's typically a layout, and the Rogers Goose Buster, man, this is tiny. It's got backpack straps. It's super small, light, compact. I can put this in the bottom of my sled with decoys on top of it. That's what I typically use for blind stuff. I carry a little seat. I like these type of seats better, honestly, than like a mud seat. Mud seats suck. They wobble, they fall. This is stable. Then, of course, I normally carry a sled. If you've been watching this channel very long, you know that I've been with high and dry for a long time. That's what I use for my waders. These actually have my logo on it. That was really cool of them. Their zipper waders are just awesome. I've been using high and dry for 4 or 5 years, 6 years. I don't even know how long it's been, but they're my favorite brand that I work with. I love high and dry, and they did me really good. I like the browns. I like solid colors nowadays. For scouting boots, Tidewee. Why? Because they just work. These boots are like 70, 80 bucks. I used to wear muck all the time. $140 for boots that won't last half as long as these. I've honestly got better life out of the Tidewees than I ever got out of my buck boots that are built just like them. So 80 bucks for a good pair of scouting boots. I can deer hunt in these, walk miles in these, and they just work great. Turkey hunt out of them. I'm all about Tidewee boots, I can tell you. One of the number one questions I get asked, if not the most asked question, is what's my shooting setup, my shotgun setup. This year I'm using the Beretta A400. The past few years I've been using a G-Force 1, and I paired all my guns with Muller chokes, and I always use the Muller passing. It's basically like a full, I'm liking the A400 so far. It was a little bulky, honestly, to get started with. It took some getting used to. I've been shooting, you know, Benelli clone guns, so they're really slender. This one took a while. It's pretty stocky, bulky. I'm shooting the Beretta A400 paired with the Muller passing, and I always shoot steel shot, 3-inch, 1 3/8 ounce number 3s. There's only a handful of brands that make it. It's slow velocity, 1,300 feet per second. I personally shoot Kent, but there's like five brands that make it. That combo, the full choke paired with the 1 3/8 ounce number 3s, extremely efficient combo for me. So for the past several years, I've been using these earth bags. Titus from Mid Valley Mercenaries, if you know his YouTube channel, he actually turned me on to this. And the main reason why I use these is because I have a lot of crap. And this bag's massive, it's waterproof. I can fit pretty much everything I need in it. This is my big camera case. Straight camera gear goes in there. GoPro case. As far as what I carry every day, always a lanyard. Camera mounts. These gloves are some of my favorite gloves. They're like, I forget what they're even used for. They're like chemical gloves, but they got insulation in them. They use them like oyster rigging, fishing stuff, but they're super warm, extremely waterproof. I use Pro Ears hearing protection, been using them for a while. These are like 70 bucks, great value. I actually got turned on to Shoddy Gear here recently. I use their gun case too. It's made out of the same stuff as this earth bag, but you can do anything with these pouches, and he sells them super cheap. They're like 12 bucks. I personally use them to put my shotgun shells in, and these are the shotgun shells I use. But you can fit a lot in here and put anything else you want in here, and it's completely waterproof. You roll it back up, clamp it shut, no water's getting in. I use the Danforth headlights. These are like 40 bucks on Amazon, 35 bucks. You can lock them so they don't turn on. They got several different modes. I've been using these for several years. I like them a lot. I also carry just like a bag of random crap. Stuff that you might need. There's my Canada license. The main things in here is like a mount for phone, face paint, extra clips, zip ties. One of the main things that I keep in here is a magnet, and it's a pretty strong magnet too. Like it will pick up pretty much anything. So if you drop it in the water, you can extend down. And I also carry like some Tylenol, stuff like that in this Ziploc bag. If you're gonna have a big bag like this has no compartments in it, so it's nice if you can use stuff like Ziploc bags or the Shoddy Gear bags to kind of keep stuff organized. Next, let's talk about the call lanyard. And you see some guys with like a whole lanyard full of calls. I've never been like that. If you notice, I've got one duck call on here because I've blown one duck call for the past like 20 years. And that's a Echo Chasing Green version, Echo single reed timber. And I've been using this thing since I was like 15 years old. Long time. It's a great call. I like the timber. Echo's got a lot of different versions. I like the timber because it gets loud, but it's got a really good low end too. And I've kind of formed my own style on it. I use a Duck Commander whistle. I got a finisher on there. I don't really use that much, but my lanyard's simple. I don't use 15 calls because I only need one. And that's the one I like. I haven't shot as many bands as I would like, but I do have a few. My favorite is a reward band I shot when I was like in junior high. $100 reward band. That was kind of cool. They just don't band them like they used to. I feel like I should have a lanyard full. I've seen thousands of ducks die, and that's the only bands I've seen come out of it. A lot of people always ask me about my camera setup. So I use a Sony NX80 for the big camera. That's what's filming this right now. It's kind of what the hunting public uses, a lot of stuff like that. I use a head mount GoPro. This is a GoPro Hero 11. The wind screen is like a wind buff, blocks the wind. It's just a head strap that goes on my head. And then I have this thing that goes in the decoys for like a second angle. And the big thing around it is just a extended battery. This is a GoPro Hero 7. So I run 2 GoPros and the big camera. And here lately, I hadn't even been bringing the big camera on hunts. If you want to see one of my best hunts ever, click this video right here. If you want to see some of my favorite decoy tips, click this video at the bottom. Thanks for watching. Lord willing, I'll catch you next time right here on Chasing Green.